Hello friends, welcome to TD Homestead. Today is Sunday, June 8th, 2025. Today's video we're going to be working on harvesting some onions and our Irish potatoes. But first I figured we'd take a quick look at this bed here with our tomato plants. You can see for the most part they're doing good. We had a couple little mishaps with a couple plants that we've shown on some previous videos, but what's left here is growing strong at the moment. In fact, it's pretty much overtaken our little tomato cages there, and we hadn't really kept up good with it, so there's a lot of it hanging out of the cages. But we got lots of tomatoes in there. You can see right there one's touching the ground there, a couple touching the ground. I'm pretty sure those are some beefsteaks, but there's several more in there, some right there. I think these right here are going to be the Homestead 24 tomatoes, and then over here is a cluster of those Krista tomatoes. So we got tomatoes in there. Those look like they're just now barely starting to possibly try to blush. So maybe in another few days we'll be able to harvest this one. That's our basil. It's looking pretty good. As you can see over here, we got our peas out. Those we're done with. But we had a couple of volunteer pepper plants show up from the garden that we planted last year. So those just come up on their own. I'm not sure what kind of pepper plants they are. I'm pretty sure that one over there is going to be some of the sweet pickled peppers, just based on the pepper that's hanging there. We'll have to let it go a little bit longer and try it. This one, I'm not sure. We'll just have to wait and see if it produces as a pepper, and we'll find out. Over here, we got a couple of California Wonder pepper plants that are looking nice and healthy, but they haven't given us any peppers yet. But I expect them to fairly soon. Oh, I see one here I didn't even notice. So there you go. There's a bunch of little baby peppers right there. So it is producing peppers for us. So with that, let's move over here and check out the onions and the potatoes real quick. So here's our onions, and some of those in the back there's from onions we grew from seed and didn't get them planted, so they're more or less turned into onion sets. Then we replanted them, and you can see a couple of them split into two onions. So that worked out pretty good. I think that one, and there was one more that didn't make it. But anyway, we'll get those harvested here in a second. Here's one tub of Irish potatoes. That's, I believe it's a 35-gallon nursery pot, and we planted them on February 9th, and I'm pretty sure that's about 119 days. Here's the other one, was planted that same day. This one I noticed has some ants infesting it, so I've drug it over here already. But hopefully the ants aren't getting our potatoes. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but if I disturb it right there, we'll probably see them. So I don't know how good that's showing up on camera, but there's definitely ants in there. So that's why those probably could go a little bit longer, but we're gonna go ahead and harvest them anyway before we lose them. So with that, let me go ahead and get this camera set up for the harvest. All right, so I think y'all can see me good enough, and I think we're gonna try out our Hori knife for this. We haven't used this much. We've had it for a while. It's a pretty nice one. I like the handle on it. So let's go ahead and just start with this little tiny one here. That didn't turn into much. You could even replant that. But so there's one little tiny one. There's another. Not great, but not terrible. Now this is the ones from our onion sets, more or less, that we created. There's two right there. That's two out of one. There's another two from one here. I mean, those aren't no contest winners, but those are good onions. So, um, there's a couple of really nice ones in here. We'll get to them in a second. Let's go ahead and get that one. And this knife was definitely the right choice. It's getting them roots no problem. Another one. Let's go ahead and get this one. Here's a bigger one. A little bit bigger. And these are all Granix onions. So they're sweet onions. The same type of onion that they get Vidalia onions. Of course, you can't grow a Vidalia onion in North Carolina because for it to technically be a Vidalia onion, it has to be grown in Georgia. I think it has to be grown in one of 5 counties in Georgia, as a matter of fact. But you can grow the same kind of onion though. So far, we're doing pretty good. I think we got some nice onions here. Go ahead and get them all out, and I'll bring them up there closer to the camera for you. Yeah. Right there. Yeah, this one's a little bit bigger than some of the others. The biggest one's right here. We'll save that for last, I guess. That one's a nice size. And this was the one that we got from the bundle from the seed store. It turned into 2. And the flower on it got trapped, so I don't know how that's going to affect it, but whew, that's strong. That part of that onion ain't no good. I guess that's how it affected it a little bit, but the rest of that's good. That's good onion right there. So other than that one right there, I don't think we're going to have any onions that we can't use. A couple of these were still standing up tall, but it was only like 2. So I figured we better go ahead and just go harvest them all now. There's one more smaller one here. It's not that small though. And then last but not least is the big boy. No, there's one more behind it, I say. Go ahead and get it. That small one. Still a usable onion. So that right there is some pretty nice onion. I'll just go ahead and pick them all up. Show you in the camera a little bit closer. So that's a nice bunch of onions. That one right there is a pretty good size one. Didn't do too bad. Now let's move on to some potatoes. Move these off to the side. Yeah, for now. All right, I'm gonna get set up for over there at the potatoes. All right, hopefully that'll work. Let me go ahead and drag this other potato bucket over there first, because I don't think it's got ants. So let's try to deal with the one that don't have ants first. Then we'll do what we got to do with the ants. I think the best way to do this is to try to dump it, but it's kind of heavy, so we'll see if that's even possible. Let's get it in the frame. So these are different potatoes than these, but they all came from my kitchen, because they weren't seed potatoes. They were just leftover potatoes that we didn't get used in our kitchen. So we planted them out. Now we're going to see what we end up getting. So yeah, that's definitely the way to do it. And I think we probably put about 6 potatoes in there. I don't remember exactly. But either way, they weren't usable anymore. So whatever we end up with, it's going to be a win. Let me get the harvest basket. And so what we did is we started out by only putting maybe like 3 or 4 inches deep of soil. And then once the plants got high above the rim of the container, we went ahead and filled it almost to the top with soil. So there's one nice potato right there already. There's a second one. Again, pretty much whatever we get is a win, because we had potatoes left over that were headed for the compost bin. I think we'll try to put some of the soil back in its container as we go. Maybe let them help us not to miss any. That looks like one of the potatoes that we started with. There's a worm. Several small ones here. Those are the plants. At least so far in this one, doesn't look like the insects have been getting us. All right. Yeah. Hopefully y'all are going to stick around to the end and see what we end up with. trying to save as much of this to reuse somewhere else, either filling in stuff or even just we can replant in it. There. More. I'm going to say we had a halfway decent success with this. And honestly, I don't think I ever do any better when I buy seed potatoes, which costs a lot of money compared to just using the scrap potatoes from the grocery store. And I didn't have no disease problems. I know a lot of people are concerned that that might be an issue for them, and I guess it could be, but it wasn't for us. Definitely, we end up with more potato than we started with, so that's good. We're almost through this one. The next one's not going to be as fun because I'm going to have to deal with ants. All right, I think I got them all. So, see if we can dump the rest in there. That works. Now, for the one that's not going to be so much fun, but anyway, so that's what we've ended up with so far. That's a good amount of potatoes. It's a bag of potatoes, pretty much. Like a bag that you'd buy from the grocery store. Now these here were some really shriveled up potatoes that looked awful. So I didn't think we would necessarily get much out of them, but looks like we did okay. Said the only big problem right now is these ants are gonna mess with us. But let's just get to it. Hopefully they didn't get to our potatoes. So we'll put them at the other end, whatever we get out of here. If we get anything. Well, we're gonna get something. Look at that. Big old potato. And if you go back and watch the videos and see how tiny and shriveled up the potatoes were, that's pretty much right there between what I got in my hand now is more potato than we started with, I would say. That's a good potato right there. And these are all mixed kinds, so I think some of these that I just pulled, that big ones looks like a russet. And those smaller ones, these look like white potatoes. And I see a red potato here, one right there. Because these were from a bag of mixed, like, potatoes that were small, like this size. There's another nice red potato. Yeah, we're doing good here too. Russet, good size one. You can kind of tell the way they feel. So far, the ants have left me alone. Wherever they're at, I haven't got to them. They're avoiding me. Let's move this one out of the way. Pull this one in place. This one seems to be a little drier. So right there, that potato feels like it's had a little, maybe ant eating on it. A little tiny potato though. So that wasn't a big loss. Hopefully that doesn't turn out to be thing. There's a nice white potato. You might as well say these are the free potatoes because I didn't put much work into them. Hardly even watered them. We've been getting a decent amount of rain around here. I ain't had to water them. So that's worked out well. Kind of been in a lazy gardening mode this year, so stuff that's been able to give us food without much effort has been great. There's another nice red one. Yeah. I'm glad I planted these potatoes. It's certainly worth it from what I got here in the basket already. Another nice red. And we did this exactly the same way as the first one we did, where we put about 3 or 4 inches of soil with the potatoes in there covered. And once the plants got up to the top of the container, we went ahead and filled it the rest of the way in with soil. But really all the potatoes, they don't continue growing up toward the top when you do that. The only best thing that it really does for you is, I think anyway, is make sure you don't end up with some green potatoes because they got exposed to the sun. I just got bit on my knee by an ant, so they found us. These last few might be painful to get, so we've been lucky so far. Just go through this as fast as we can. One good thing I can say is I only found one potato. So look at that green worm right there. I don't know if you can see it, but I think that's a hornworm or something like that. Well, looks like we were able to escape that without any major ant issues. So there's the potato harvest. Pretty good. I'll go ahead and put them over there by the onions, and we'll get a last little parting look at the full harvest. All right, here you go. This is the tater and onion harvest for 2025. Not too bad. You can see right here is a decent one. And that's the biggest one right there. Real nice. And then the potatoes. Nice bunch of potatoes. There's a white one. There's a nice red one. A couple of decent red ones. A couple of decent russets from that one bucket. Then the other bucket looks like they're all white potatoes. But pretty good for what we started with. So with that, we're going to go ahead and end our video right here. So until next time, be kind and enjoy your day.